Oh, there we go. I got some volume problems there. Let me just double check on everything here. All right. Cool, cool. All right. Well, I'm just going to wait a few more seconds for anyone to shuffle in the room. Shuffle in the stream, I guess, is the better way to put it. And I hope if everyone's watching, you're doing well and ready for an hour of crystal language coding. So I'll just get started now. We are back with Crystal Fridays today. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for watching if you are on YouTube. We are back talking about the crystal language. So every week I go over a little bit of what the crystal language is and what we're working on, what this stream is all about. So the crystal language is a relatively new programming language, kind of like Ruby, but it's got some extra features. It's compiled, which makes it quite a bit faster, gives it some better concurrency control and concurrency features. It's also statically typed, so that means less testing. That means better compiler warnings. That means a couple other things as well. And there's a few other features that I'm really big on that I really enjoy about the language. But in general, Crystal is a new and exciting language that I'm very excited about. So today and always on the Crystal Friday stream, we are working on a project. We just keep working and working and working on a project, and we see the progress as we go. And I'm learning along with you. I'm by no means a Crystal language expert. I've been doing it, I guess, for maybe 2 or a little bit more than 2 months. Um, we've gotten through one Crystal project, a littler, smaller Crystal project at the beginning of the life of this stream, and now we're on our second one. Now, this one is a documentation server. So, if you're unfamiliar with what that means, that is a server that will serve up the HTML page for the documentation of any Crystal dependency. In Crystal, the dependencies are called shards. So it's going to serve up the documentation for a shard. The shard will be specified in the URL of the server. So with that, I just want to make sure everyone knows the chat is open. Feel free to ask questions or leave comments on the chat. We definitely have an interactive thing going here, so I will answer you on the chat, or I will kind of interact with you on the chat if you leave a comment. So please do that if you're up for it. So the documentation server. Let's pick up where we left off. Let's run the server. Oops. We're going to run main.cr. And this is where we left off. I'm remembering this now. A compiler error. Okay, so the compiler error gives us a pretty good idea of where we messed up. So this is going to be on line 48 of crystaldocs.cr. Crystaldocs.cr is pretty much our main, our everything file. Almost everything is in this file. We did have some HTTP logic that we had to write over here, but that's kind of just said and done, and we're all good with that. So Crystal Docs, line 58 is, let's see, where did we mess up? 48. That's right, because 58 is a comment. So write to dir entry dot contents. So we're gonna have to go over and figure out where zip is coming from. Looks like zip is coming from zip reader, and we're gonna head over to my trusty Crystal API documentation. So to find that, I always have to remind myself, and if you always forget, then you will be reminded as well. So if you click on learn, that is not the right place. I just remembered that. Learn goes to the language reference. This is a great reference, but it's not the actual Crystal language standard library API. So I'm going to X out of that. You have to go to docs. Do not click on the language reference. Instead, click on the API docs. So now we can go to zip reader. And we'll go here. And now, what are we doing here? We're calling open, and then we're passing a block in. So again, if you're unfamiliar with blocks, this is kind of like a callback function. So let's go back in. We do open, we do our block, and we need to get the content of the file. That's what we're trying to do here. And the content of the file looks like we do entry.io.getS2end. So what's going on with that? Let's see where IO is. I'm going to just do a search. Maybe not. Where is IO? It's not here, but let's see. Maybe entry. Entry, let's see. Open, returns, and entry. Creates a new entry, closes it at the end. I'm guessing that zip reader gives us some kind of a file. Oh, entry. That's what it is. Use the IO method to read from it. Okay, cool. So the IO method to read from it, I'm just going to open up the IO into a new file. And just in the example, I think maybe we can see, no, we can see where that get S2end. There we go. Returns all of the rest of this IO data as a string. Okay, so that is going to write that file, whichever file it is in the zip file. It's going to write it to the end. It's going to write the entire file to this directory. So that's cool. I'm going to try to compile and run this again, and let's see what happens. So what I want is for Crystal to write the entire zip file, expanded the zip file, so unzip it, write the entire file to a temp directory. But I don't really know what the temp directory is, so I'm going to print it out. So we have an outer block here. We are doing http utils.get. The outer block gets the response, and then we process the response. So what that means is we're going through the response body. We are taking that as the zip file. We're unzipping it, and we're writing all the zip file files inside of the zip file into a temporary directory. And then we're returning the temporary directory here, and that comes out as dir name. So I'm going to collapse that. I'm going to print, excuse me. I'm going to print out the directory name. Shard VCS URL were saved to, and let's see, they were saved to dir name. Okay, so let's see what this gets us. Write to dir. Okay, so we forgot to implement that. Write to dir. Okay. So let's figure out how we're going to write a file to a directory. I'm guessing there is a file. I remember this. File represents a file entry and allows using it as an IO. File new. Temporary file. We want to write to a file. Base name, copy each line. Join, link, open, read. Let's see, is there a write? Writable dot write. All right. Writes the content to file name. I think I saw actually it allows using it as an IO. Okay. So let's see how we write to an IO. Write the whole slice into an IO. I want to write a string into an IO. So let's head down here. Oh, SigJE, digging the different font for your banner. Thank you. I just right before I started the stream, I changed the font to some Google font. I can't remember exactly what it was. All right, so right, where is right? There, I'm pretty sure I've seen right inside of an IO before. Right byte, right bytes, right UTF-8. So it looks like everything we need to write is a bytes. So I'm actually gonna just go and I'm going to actually implement write to dir and do all this dirty stuff underneath the hood. So like this is going to get a string, but I'm going to just convert the string to bytes under the hood of this function because I'm not really sure exactly what I'm doing yet. So let me go make this real fancy. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to copy the same pattern as I had in http.cr, create a new http utils. And from what I remember, I don't exactly understand this, but you have to extend self if you want to be able to call, in this case, http utils dot get or dot whatever. So here I'm going to call this files, and again I'm going to extend self, and then I'm going to implement this def write to dir, and I'm going to call it, fully qualified is what? That is the file name. So I'm going to call it file name, fully qualified file name, and that's going to be a string. I put this on a new line here. And then we've got our contents. And that's going to be a string as well. And boy, I even forgot how to write a function in Crystal. So it's been a while. It's been since last week. So actually, this is a great place to use the language reference. Well, actually, I don't need that. I'm just going to go over to here. So, which is, okay, yeah, it's just colon, the return value, and then indent the rest of it. So this is going to return nothing, I believe. Yeah, basically it's going to return nothing. So I don't really need anything there, I think. Okay, so now we have to figure out how are we going to open the file and write it to, we're going to have to write the bytes. So we're going to do file.open. We're going to have to require, actually I don't think we need to require because it's a standard library. I always forget, but I don't think. So we're going to do file.open fully qualified file name. And then I think we have to do a write bit, which would be mode, yeah. So mode, we're gonna have to pass W, I believe. I think there might be an append, but I don't remember. I know there's an append in Unix, Linux and Unix if you actually do an open syscall. But here I don't really remember if Crystal lets you do append. So I'm just gonna do write. And we're gonna do that. I don't remember how to do named parameters. I think we do mode equals that, I think. And then we're going to do file name equals, and if I got this wrong, then it'll just be colon, I think. I got to do a parentheses there, I think. Let's see if that works. So then we're going to call that file equals, okay. And then we're going to want to do file.write because file is an IO. And we're going to want to do write, just write, I think. So file dot write contents bytes. So what is contents bytes? We have to figure out how to change a string into bytes. So I'm going to go check out string sequence of UTF-8 characters. We might want to do write UTF-8 on that call then, but we'll see. I think we want to do write UTF-8. Let's go back to the IO documentation. Yeah, right, UTF-8. That is a bytes. Okay, so write is a bytes. Write UTF-8 takes bytes, but string says that it's UTF-8 bytes, so I'm gonna go with that. String, build. We pass a slice in, so hopefully you can get a slice back out. Instance methods. Okay, we've got all those great things. Byte at. Byte slice, no. Bytes. Returns this string's bytes as an array of uint 18, but bytes is a different type. So bytes is an alias to slice of uint 8. Okay, so bytes returns an array of uint 8. That is a oh, well, I'm all mixed up here. Okay, so let's first do this. Contents bytes equals contents.bytes. So this is going to be a, what is that again? Bytes is an array of, oops. Let me close some directories here. That'll make my life a little easier. That is an array of uint 8. Let's see, yeah. Okay, so now we've got an array of uint 8, and we need to make this into a what? A bytes array. So a bytes array is a slice of uint 8, and slice needs to, so we need to change an array into a slice. So how do we do that? Slice new, slice.new, size int, let's see, can we get some kind of can we pass in some kind of array? So I think an array is a fixed size and a slice is a wait a second. No, I actually think slice is growable. I think an array is not. I think array is fixed, but I'm not 100% sure on that. At this point, though, I want to see if I can just copy from an array into the slice. This might be the wrong way to do it, but let's see. Okay, so these are instance methods. I don't want that. And I wonder if we can create an empty slice and maybe put, this doesn't really look right. I was thinking maybe we can create an empty slice and then shove all the bytes into it, but I'm really not 100% sure about that. Oh, so you can change a slice into an array. Okay. 2a returns an array. Well, that's too bad. I want to go the other way. I want to go from array to slice. So I wonder if contents.bytes, since that returns an array, let me go and open up the documentation for array, because maybe array can return a slice, which would be great. Okay. Let's just scroll. I'm not really sure where we're gonna find any of the right stuff we need. Okay, arrays and ordered blah blah blah. Index collection of types T. Build new. Okay. Class method. No, we want instance methods of an array. Great. Okay. We've got a bunch of indexing operations. Clone, compact, concatenate, delete. None of this is what I want. And I'm guessing it'll be under S or maybe T, like to slice. But let's see. Reject, reverse, rotate, select. Wow, there's a lot of stuff you can do with an array, so that's nice. We missed S. Shuffle, shift. No, nothing there. To A returns another array. To S returns a string. To YAML, somehow YAML returns a YAML out of an array. That's kind of cool. No. From indexable, nothing there, it looks like. Iterable, each slice, each with object. Slice before. Let's see what iterable gives us. Slice, no. Each slice count reuse. Slice after. What does this mean? Each dot slice after. What is each? I have no idea. Oh. The mixin provides convenience methods to collection classes that provide an each method that returns an iterator over the collection. Okay, so this is iterable. Now we've got iterator. So, okay. This was saying same as each dot slice underscore after. So we want to find a slice underscore after. Returns an iterator over chunks of elements. No, I don't want that. Alias of each underscore slice. That's how you get a slice, I think. Each underscore slice returns an iterator that returns slices of n elements of the initial iterator. Okay. This might be a thread we can pull on, but this is starting to feel real complicated. I wonder if there's an easier way to convert a string to bytes. So let's go to the Google. Crystal language convert string to bytes. How to convert a hex bytes to bytes array, string. Now we've got C# stuff, it looks like. I'm going to open the string thing in a separate tab. This is Golang. This is the thing about Crystal. There's not a ton of Googling you can do. But there might be some thread we can pull on in here, maybe. Maybe. Percent literal strings. No. Okay, that didn't help. So one idea that I just had might be in here, we just did this earlier. We got an IO and then we got the string out of the IO. I wonder if there's a way to get bytes out of the IO. So I'm going to bank on that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to delete that. And then we're basically going to just do this. Okay, so now our convenience function is requiring bytes. All right, that's making the convenience function much easier, which is great because we're just passing the contents, the bytes, into this file.write. So then out here, how do we get bytes out of entry.io? Well, now I'm starting to maybe pull on this thread. So entry.io returns an IO, and we've got to figure out how to get bytes out of that IO. So let's go back, and we need to figure out where we were at. We were at zip files. Let's go here. So we've got zip entry. I think it was zip reader entry maybe. Yes. So that's IO. Okay, the IO returns an IO. Oh, that's right. So the returns an IO. And now I don't want the get s2 string. I want to get bytes. So again, we've got each byte returns an iterator. I don't want an iterator. I want to just see if I can get straight up bytes out of it. So get s, no. Read bytes. No, I don't want that. Read bytes. Returns an instance from the given type of this IO using this specific format. No, I don't really want that. This one might work. Tries to read exactly slice.size bytes from this IO into slice. So I wonder if I can create a new slice that is the entire size of the IO somehow, and I can read into that. I could call read fully and read into that bytes. But maybe there's more we can do here. It's like we need get s to end, but we need like get bytes to end or something like that. But I think we might be on to something here as long as we can get the length of the IO somehow. So I'm going to open this read UTF-8 in a different tab so I can go and figure out how we would do that. How. And actually, maybe one way to do this is, can we somehow read one character or one byte at a time, maybe? I wonder. Because I don't see a way to get the length of this. Peek into this IO if possible, and it might return bytes. It returns a maybe bytes. So what is that all about? All right. Peek into this IO. It will return nil if it's not peekable. If an empty slice, it will return an empty slice if it is peekable, but it's at the end of the IO. It'll return a non-empty slice if some of the data can be peeked. So this is a little bit not what we want, because IO is generic and it's designed to be able to stream. So you might not know where the end is. So that's not quite what we want. What I do want is, at this point, I want to figure out how get s to end works. I'm going to actually look in the source, because if we figure out how it can read a string to the end of the IO, I bet we can figure out how to read a bytes to the end of the IO. So I'm going to head in and go spelunking in the code. All right. Now we've got some blah, blah, blah decoder thing. Decoder.read. What is a decoder? This is getting hot and heavy. This is not making any sense. Decoder.outslice. What? So they've got buffer.toSlice uninitialized uint 4096. No. Huh. Well, I don't know. We can't get the size of the IO, so we don't know how to create bytes, the right size bytes. So we can't do that. How do you read an IO to an end? So let's do some more Googling. Now we know something more specific to Google. Read an IO to end. Threading and crystal. Standard IO read. Okay, this is looking better. Oh, that's Rust. Nope. But actually that raises something in my mind. I wonder if there's some kind of IO reader, a different type, in the Crystal API docs. So we've got IO, error, EOF error, byte format, buffered, memory, file descriptor. What else do we have? Abstract class, IO, file socket, blah, 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 get S. That returns a string. That's not, okay, that's the same deal. That's not what I want. Buffered. It enhances an IO. Well, we don't have access to the actual IO class, so that's not what I want. Evented. That doesn't have any documentation. That doesn't look like what we want, because evented reminds me of like event-based programming or something, or an event loop. That's not really what we're dealing with. File descriptor, that doesn't sound right either. Multi-writer, is there a way? No. Multi-writer just writes to multiple IOs at once. Seek, what is seek? How do you use a seek? I don't know. That might be another end dead end. Sized. An IO that wraps another IO, setting a limit for the another bytes that can be read. No. Stapled. Staples two unidirectional IOs to form a bidirectional IO. No. I don't need to deal with directional yet. That looks like an error. Okay. Another dead end. Well, let's go to the chat. SigJ, that was amazing. I was like, cool. Now we're going to learn some Rust. I am not a good person to teach Rust, but one of both of our coworkers is. Actually, I will plug his Twitch. Rylevic. I think this is him. Nope. Ryan Levick, Twitch. Oh, I just saw it in here. Ryan_Levick. That's his Twitter. I bet that's his Twitch too. Otherwise, nope. Ryan Levick. Are you going to be here, maybe? Yeah. Okay, all one word. Ryan Levick, all one word. He does a ton of Rust streams. He does teaching. He does projects. I actually haven't watched his Rust stream. I haven't watched his last few Rust streams. I've got to get back to that. But they're awesome. He's really, really talented. He knows Rust really, really well. And you can see here, like he did a 2-hour one 3 hours ago. So he does them in Pacific time. He does them in the early morning because he is located in the EU. So if you don't tune in like me, because that's very early for me. If you don't tune in like I do, you can always watch the Twitch replays. And I don't 100% know if they're on YouTube, but at least head over to Twitch and watch the last few ones because they're awesome. Oh yeah, SigJ says Ryan is magical. He needs to update to YouTube. Yes, he does. So he's not on YouTube, I guess. Hopefully we can twist his arm and get this stuff onto YouTube. Because I would love to have this sort of on the record forever. And Twitch deletes very old videos. So let's get back to Crystal, though. So as you can tell, unlike Ryan, I have no idea what I'm doing with Crystal. And so this is a problem we have. So I guess there's a few ways to look at this. So one, can we get bytes out in the first place? Two, if we've got a string and we couldn't get bytes, is there a way to translate the string to bytes? Three, is there a way to write a string into a file? So coming from other lower level languages like C, C++, and Go, I would say it's best to try to get bytes out and work with bytes the whole way through. So that means I'm going to keep this as bytes, and I'm going to figure out a way to read the IO into bytes. Okay. So we've got our IO here, and it's probably looking like we need to do some kind of thing to get bytes out and put them into something, into a bytes of some kind. And then from there, we've got our bytes object. And I think that at that point, I think that we are good. So, okay. We've got an iterator, but I think each byte would work better because this we can put a block. Yeah, like this. IO each byte, do byte. This is printing them out, but I bet we can go ahead and maybe put them into an array of some kind. Let me remind myself what bytes is, though, because bytes is the one that's required to put into here. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to use an existing tab. Bytes is a slice. Oh, no. Not again. This is a slice. And how do you put the thing? How do you append stuff to a slice? You can only... Oh, wait. Return a new slice that is offset elements apart from this slice. I wonder if we can do +0 maybe. Slice new 5. and you put in 5 elements, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Slice plus 2 only does a subset of the slice. That's not what we want. Let's go back up. Oh, but back to slice. And let's see what we can do here. What else we can do? Empty, no, 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 no. Copy from another pointer. Byte size, no. Duplicate, no. Hex string, map. It looks like this slice thing is kind of hard to use, which is a real bummer. To an array, to string, to slice. I'm remembering this now. Indexable, enumerable, iterable, object. So I wonder if we could somehow make a new slice with the old, yeah, a new slice out of the old one, or basically just concatenate two slices together, possibly. So I'm guessing that might be in the constructors. This looks like YAML. Create a slice to the given pointer bounded by the given size. Allocates a size times size of t. Bytes of heap memory initialize to value and return a slice pointing to that memory. Oh, this is a tough one to deal with, huh? Okay. Bytes is nothing but a slice, so we've got to deal with slices. No matter what we do, we've got to deal with slices. Returns a slice size of t. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So we can do... I wonder if we can do this. So I'm going to just write it in pseudocode first. So entry io equals entry.io. So that's not pseudocode. And then we can do loop, create an array. Now loop through each byte in entry IO and push into the array. Create a new bytes with size of the array, and then put each byte in array into bytes. Now that's super inefficient, but I'm going with it. I'm just going with it, everybody. So I think that's the only way we can do it, because... Oh, wait, let's see. What is this? No. I think that's the only way we can do it, because we've got to change this IO into something we can figure out the size of, which I'm guessing the best thing to do is an array, because arrays can be appended to. Once we have it in whatever, once we have it in the array, then we can figure out the size of it. And then at that point, now that we can figure out the size of it, then we can create a slice once the array is completely full. And the slice we can create of that size. And then when we create the slice, we can do it kind of like this, where we say new the size, and then inside of the block, we basically just fill in each this. We get an I for the index, and then for each instantiation of that block, we take that I and basically copy the value from the array at index I into the slice at the same index. So we've got some pieces to put together here. So we've got entry. Actually, we can just do this. Wow, we've got a lot of indents here. So actually, let's create another. I'm just creating new modules all over the place just because it's fun. I have no reason to do this. No, you know what? I don't want to create another IO. I changed my mind. We'll move this out later. So we're going to do an array. I think I have array open somewhere in here. Let's just use let's reuse a thing. Reuse a tab. All right. Array dot new. So we're going to do array of something. What type are we going to do here though? The uint8. All right. So bytes array equals array uint8 dot new. Okay. Going back to array. And then now we're going to do append. I think append is, yeah, right there. Left caret, 2 left carets, whatever that's called. So now we're going to do entry.io each. And then I need to go back to each byte. And then we're going to have our do, and then our byte, and then our bytes array byte, append byte. All right, so now we've got build a complete array of the bytes. And now fill in a slice of the bytes in the array. I wonder if the array has a way to make a slice. I thought it did. Maybe not. Maybe that was the other way around. Each permutation looks like it doesn't. Each slice. No, I don't want to do that. I guess there's not an easy way, but maybe there is and I'm just missing it. And that's okay. I'm going to just do this. Bytes, byte slice equals, I think I remember this. You do a slice dot new bytes array dot length. And then we've got our index, and we're going to do return. We don't really need the return. I'm just going to do bytes array at index I. I'm just going to make sure there is a dot length on the array. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm just going to search length. Nope, there is not. There's got to be something though, to tell the length of the array. Maybe it's size. Yeah, there we go. Dot size. Now we've got our byte slice, and I'm going to delete all this stuff because we just did it. Now we're going to do byte slice. Okay. All right. Let's see what we can do here. That was a lot. Write to dir, that's because we have to do files dot write to dir. I think that's the way. We might have to import something. Yeah, require files.cr. Okay, because we did that with the HTTP, so we're doing it with files.cr as well. I think that needs to be an equals then in files.cr line 5. We need, it says, I should read the whole compiler error, huh? Space required before colon in type restriction. All right. All right. How about that? Let's try that now. Whoops. Expecting token, not contents. That's in line 6. And that is because I forgot the comma. Line 15, expecting an end, not EOF. Oh, yeah. Duh. I forgot to close everything out. All right, so yeah, this is the end of the function. This is the end of the module. Return dir name. Can't return from captured block. Use next. All right. Crystal docs line 64. I wonder if that's because this, yeah, this doesn't return. So I am going to do this just for now. And I think I can just do that. I can leave this out. Then dir name here will overwrite this one. And then we should be good to go by the end of this block. But we'll see. We will see. Okay. We are up on line 3000, or port 3000. So now that we've got something running, 45 minutes later, let's see. Oh, we don't have any curl. We don't have like a curl command set up right now. But basically, we just need to do curl localhost 3000 and then put in a shard organization and a shard name in the path. And so I've got one. We actually hard coded one in here. So it's not going to actually get the documentation for the actual shard name and shard organization that you put in the queries or in the URL path. But I'm going to use CodeStake, my very favorite GitHub username, and Numite. So this is not only my favorite GitHub username, but it is also the shard for the database that we are using. That's right here, actually. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this right here. And I'm going to go into my new tab, curl localhost 3000. And oh, I got an extra slash there. And that means there was an error. So let's see what happened. Opening file temp Numite master with mode W. It's a directory. Okay. That was in file.cr and then coming up into files.cr. Now, so yeah, this is a Crystal standard library file. That's the file stuff that I was doing. And then we hop up to my files.cr. Because that's not confusing at all. 1S is what got you. And then hopping up into line 59. Okay, in Crystal Docs. So line 59 is down here. Line 59 is here. Fully qualified. That is entry.filename. So that should be the full directory. Dir name and entry.file name. So, oh boy, what did I do? All right, so we're gonna print that out. About to write zip entry fully qualified. All right, so let's rerun it and see what happened. Okay, going back up. About to write TMP Numite master. So let's actually try to download the actual zip and see what it looks like. Because I bet there's some weird nesting that we haven't really taken into account. So curl o, the zip.zip, whatever it is. Follow redirects, do that. And then I wonder if we have the unzip. We do. All right. Okay, check it out. So we have a subdirectory inside of the zip file. So then everything under the subdirectory is the actual files we want to do. So really what we have to do here is obviously we don't know the directory structure up front. But what we should really do in our unzipping is figure out if the entry is a directory, then we need to skip it. If the entry is not a directory, then over here, we need to not only put it under our temp dir name, we also need to put it under the fully qualified directory of the entry, which is inside of the zip file. So for example, take right here, take this one. So we should not create the, let's see, what am I saying here? we should not be writing numite master into the final temporary directory. We should not be writing numite master slash spec into the final template, the final temporary directory. We should though be writing this crystal file into the temporary directory under slash spec slash numite spec.cr. So we should be ignoring that. Basically, I think the way that the GitHub zip files are situated, the way that they get downloaded is the first thing, the first directory in the zip file is always going to be, let's see, repository name dash branch name, if I remember correctly. So we can ignore the first one, but I'm not sure if that's even going to matter. So let's just not ignore anything for now. We'll see how it goes. So the question is, how do we get, first of all, so entry, if not entry dot is dir, and we can go all the way down. Oh, what did I do? Nope, I did not tab that in. So we can indent that. And now we can go down and do end. Okay, so I don't know if this is the right function, but that's the idea. And now we need to get fully qualified entry entry location path. Whatever that is. I'm not sure what the function name is there. I'm not sure if one even exists. So we might have to figure that out too. So we've got our fully qualified entry path, excuse me. And then that's going to be something like numite master slash docs slash numite.png, even though that's a crystal file. Let's take a better example. Numite master spec benchmark.cr. So then this is going to be numite master spec benchmark.cr. And then fully qualified is going to be whatever it is, slash tmp slash my fancy template or my fancy temporary directory slash numite master slash spec slash benchmark.cr. So really we've got to figure out, how do you figure out if the entry is a directory? Because we don't want to go into that. We don't want to write that into the zip file. I'm sorry. We don't want to write that directory into the temporary directory because there's nothing to put in it. Yeah, there's nothing to put in it yet. But what we do want to do is if it's not a directory, that means it's a file. And in that case, we want to get the full path of the file under the top level of the zip file. And that's where this comes from. So we got to figure out both. Is it a directory, and what is the full path of that zip file entry under the top level? So these are both zip entries. And I happen to remember it's called zip reader entry. And we've got to go in and see, oh, wait. Yes, file info. So included means it's kind of mixed in. File info is mixed in. So we can see if there's anything in here. Okay, that's the first one, dir. So if entry dir, if not entry dir, question mark. So that I was very close. File name. Of course, this does not have any documentation on it, but I'm guessing, was I using file name before though? Let's see, I'm gonna go into my diff. I actually don't think I was, but let's keep going here. File returns true if this entry is a file. Actually, I can use that. It'll save a few keystrokes, make it a little easier to read. So back to the file name. File extra dir. I guess we can try file name. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but we'll see. Oh, there we go. We've got to run it. And all right, it didn't fail. Oh, that's not even the right thing. There we go. It still failed. Okay. What's the... we don't even have a message this time. Error opening file, git ignore with mode W. Oh, we have to create it. Okay. I need to remind myself what the Unix mode is for create, because I think that's what we need to do. Unix file flag create. Is that a thing? No, oh, this is the command prompt. No, I actually am not sure. Oh yeah, Unix command flag append file. Maybe that. Unix syscall append file. Maybe? No, this is the command line. Let's go back to file and see. File new. File open. Maybe it's file new. No. Open. Open. No. Copy, delete. Each line empty. File info. Join link. Open. No. Read lines. Symlink. Temp file. I don't want any of that. Touch. I wonder if touch will create the new file just like the Unix command line. Or this. File.write. Oh, I missed that. Oh boy. Look at this. Oh, I wonder what content needs to be. Yeah. Content can be a string. Oh no. I didn't have to do any of this. I could have just done file.write. I missed that. Okay, so check this out. We can go back to a string there. Wow. And I think we can comment this out. Oops. I think we can comment this out. And then over here, I'm pretty sure we can just get rid of all of this and this, and we can do entry.io.getS to string. We can go back to what we had before. I think. We will see. Entry.io.getS to string. We had something like that before. Just one more second. Entry. No, it might have been, the example was in probably zip. Zip reader. Yeah, entry.io.getS to end. That's what it was. Let's see if this works. If not, file, oh, it's uppercase. File, because it's a static method. And then fully qualified file name. And it's running. Okay. Still a failure. And I bet it's because, yeah, it doesn't exist. So we will have to figure out how to make it exist first. Cool. All right, so we made some progress here. So now we are able to get the file contents out of each zip entry, making sure, of course, it's not one of the directories under the zip file. And we're working on opening a new file, creating a new file in a temporary directory. Then after it's created, opening it up, and then writing the actual zip file contents into it. So just going back to the chat. SigJE, I love this whole exploration and wow moment. I think something had a comment. Can you pop open the first thing you were looking at? Looks like I fixed the comma. Sorry, I missed that. And then, oh, awesome. Oh, yeah, it looks like. So, SigJ, did you get what you were looking for? The first thing I was looking at? I hope you did. And if not, all this code will be checked into GitHub AR// Crystal Docs. So yeah, it looks like you said yeah, so that's great. But if not, you can always browse in here, and I will check all this code in right after this screencast. Before I forget, discard changes. I don't want a zip file getting checked in, or any of the other Numite stuff that I just downloaded. All right. Well, with that, I'm actually 1 minute over time, so I hope that you learned something today about Crystal. I certainly did. If you want to see the YouTube for Crystal Fridays, go into arschless.com/about is the easiest way to go. Just scroll down to Crystal Fridays. You obviously know where the Twitch stream is if you're watching this on Twitch right now. If you want YouTube recordings, there's a link there. And that should be it. So I will be back here, same time, same place, next Friday, 10 a.m. U.S. Pacific time. I'll send out reminders on Twitter. So if you see one of those, please share it with your friends and retweet it. Oh, SigJE, you had a good point. Next Friday is July 4th. If you're watching from outside of the U.S., July 4th is a holiday for us, so I will not be on next Friday at 10 a.m. U.S. Pacific time. I will be on the Friday after that. Thank you, SigJE. I will be on in 2 Fridays, same time, same place, 10 a.m. U.S. Pacific time, twitch.tv/ARSChless. Of course, yes, I'll be reminding on Twitter. Please retweet that. Tell your friends. Please subscribe to me on Twitch. And if you hit up the YouTube, subscribe there too. I put out other content besides Crystal stuff too. So if you're interested in polyglot stuff, you'll get it. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. I will see you in 2 Fridays.